Hello, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between and beyond. My name is Taylor. Welcome to what was supposed to be the first episode of the OverAchievers Podcast. Unfortunately, due to extenuating circumstances, that is now lost to time. Completely my fault. As the old saying goes, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. In place of episode 1, I give you episode 0. In this episode, it's just going to be me, whereas normally I will be presenting with a guest, just going over what this podcast is going to be in the future. So provided nothing goes wrong with future episodes, and I really hope they don't, it will be releasing on the 24th of every month, starting on July 24th, 2022, with episode 2. Now I know what you're thinking, why release episode 2 without an episode 1? Well, the problem is we didn't have enough time to re-record the first episode, and we can't really edit the second episode to feel like the first one. So in light of the introductions that were in the first episode, they're going to be placed here in episode 0. So the OverAchievers Podcast will generally be hosted by me, alongside a guest who I bring in to talk about different games on varying platforms. It could be Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, you name it. In these episodes, I will be asking them about their experience getting all achievements for their chosen game of the episode. Then they will turn around and ask me the same questions about the games that I have chosen. These are games that we have gotten all achievements for, not necessarily games that we've gotten 100% completion on. Those are two very different things and provide two very different perspectives. With that in mind, I have chosen to specifically focus on achievements because it's a set of specified goals laid out for the player to achieve in whatever order they may choose, and sometimes these things get absolutely ridiculous, and I love talking about the ones that are really out there. To me, there's also a good sense of pride and accomplishment, as EA would put it, in just getting each one of those little boxes ticked off, knowing that you've marked down just one more off that list. I also wanted to talk to people who got all achievements in their games, because to me, that represents a passion for that game. They've decided among the hundreds, thousands, or maybe just dozens of games that they own on that platform, that is the one they want to focus on. That is the one they want to spend extra time on to do whatever little thing the game has asked of them. I have a passion for games. I love talking about them, and I want to build a community around getting all achievements in games. So with all that in mind, I do want to talk about what would have been with episode 1. Episode 1 was going to feature me sitting down with my good friend John, discussing Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered and Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. Now, these were the first games that John and I got all achievements for on Steam specifically, which I thought would be great, a fitting first episode, but again, that's lost to time. There are a few references made to that first episode in the second, because at the time of recording the second episode, the first episode was just being edited by myself, and then I lost it. So please understand there may be some references that you don't necessarily understand or that have no context to them. That is because they would have been in the first episode that would have released when this episode is going out. Speaking of going out, this episode is not only on Spotify and all major podcast platforms, but also on YouTube at the T's Table YouTube channel. That is T''S space TABLE on YouTube. So the reason I wanted to put this on both podcasting platforms as well as YouTube is so that I can put gameplay footage, just, generic footage, so you can see what the game is like on YouTube. If you're able to sit down, watch it, put on your second monitor, do whatever you want. But if you're on the go and you want to listen to something about a game that you don't think enough people talk about, or a game that you may be trying to go for all achievements for yourself, throw on the podcast, take it on the train, take it wherever you go. Speaking of trying to get all achievements yourself, we tend to focus on achievements that we had the most trouble with or found the least entertaining, and the ways that we got through it, whether that was a guide or just a specific strategy that we found works best for us. Any guides that we did use will be put in the description of the YouTube video, so if you're struggling with something, just go scroll down there, look at what we looked at, and that could help you through a tough spot. This podcast won't be for everyone, and that's totally fine. I'm very new to this whole thing, so please, if you have any suggestions or criticisms, direct them at me. I'm the one who's starting this podcast. I'm the one who's directing it, making the questions. My guests are taking the time out of their day to speak with me about their passions, but at the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for everything. So please, if you have any criticisms, ideally constructive ones, or anything you want to see changed about the podcast in the future, leave them down in the comments below. Send me a message on Twitter at TTableY222. I would love to hear from all of you. I would love to build a community around the idea of getting all achievements in games. It's not that broad of a category. It's something not a lot of people are interested in, but it's also something I don't feel gets enough attention, because they're either just focused on the gameplay and a general view of the game, or they're focused on 100% completion, doing absolutely everything, and not really that middle ground. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Episode 2 will be coming out on July 24th, 2022. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!